Hi everybody, it's Sandi Clarkson here with you today, sharing an unboxing video for My Creative Scrapbook. Today we're going to be looking at the February limited edition kit, which is one of the 4 kits that come out every month from My Creative Scrapbook. The distinction with the limited edition kit is it's usually more of a shabby chic feel, and we always get flowers. And so we'll go ahead and look at the flowers first. This base collection of the papers is from 49 Market. It is the Echoes of Time collection. And so this is going to be all in that palette of, a pale purple and so forth. So first we have a package of 10 Prima flowers in various shades of purple. And these are from the Magic Spell collection. So 10 of those, and all generally like in a medium size. I'd say 1.5 inches or so, maybe to 2. And then we have a package from Little Birdie, and these are called the Lolita Ivory Pearl. They're kind of like I said, an ecru. At first I thought they were kind of a pale yellow, but they're definitely more of that creamy family, and we've got different sizes, and I see some greenery tucked under there. I don't see a piece count on here. I think it's 7 piece, I think is what it says. So mainly the flowers, and then the leaves are kind of, glued behind the buds. So first we have this die cut element pack, and there's 83 die cut pieces. And this is just a quick look at what's in there. And then at the end of the video, I will open this up and we can look more thoroughly at what's in here. But we have note cards and frames and stopwatches and piping with clocks on it and torn ticket type of things. So lots of different kind of ephemera that you would want to use on your project. And then we also got the laser cut wildflowers. So there's 4 sheets of those. And I'm sorry, I didn't think to open it before I got on camera here. So let me just open it real quick. And we will look at this together. On the back side of the cover sheet, there's some elements that you can fussy cut if you like the pipe, the suitcases, butterflies, the birds, lots of fun elements. I like that they use the back side of that for something we can actually use. And then, like I said, these are the wildflowers. And so here's one sheet, and it is like single flowers or a few clusters, some vinery and leaves, little buttons or gears, and these are all kind of like roses, a few different flowers, but different colors. And like I said, the stems, and there's a butterfly. There's a couple of 3 butterflies. So those would be pretty for feminine, delicate type pages. Oh, these are beautiful. And over here we've got clusters of flowers that are already done. So you can just go ahead and don't have to layer those yourself. You can just go ahead and put those larger floral clusters on your project. Some more butterflies, and then some more singles, and various things to make clusters or to balance out your cluster. So a large butterfly there. So those are really pretty and match perfectly. So those will be fun to use. And then here is our die cut for the month. And it's Love Flourished. And so you can use that as is, or you can back it, or you can colorize it. If you're a member of the Kit Club, then you can go on our website and look under the Cut Files tabs, and you'd have access to the cut file, and then you could resize it to any size that you want to cut out. So there's that. We also got another stencil this month from Little Birdie. And this one is called Leaf Lattice. It's a 4x7 stencil. And so I really had fun with the one we had last month. So this will be neat because the, leaf pattern will go really well with the papers that we're working with. Also, we got some decorative chipboard from Prima called Dainty But Wild. And so there's some different sizes. This is quite a large piece right here. And then here's like a smaller rosette and something more like a stem. And then this is like some leafy bit right there. So I always enjoy getting chipboard and playing with it. And then we got decoupage paper again this month from Little Birdie. And there's 4 sheets. And there's 2 designs. So there's this design right here with the birds. And it's all kind of in gray, charcoal gray tones with some text. So that's one side. And then the other side is more these bolder butterflies than we saw last month. It's kind of like some dictionary print there. And a little bird down there. So it's always fun to figure out ways to use that to decorate our pages or elements, whatever you're designing with. All right, so let's get into the papers. This first one is called Hanging Time. And so that's kind of what it is. It's like little stopwatches, one hanging from the other. And a nice floral cluster over here with some text detail. And on the back side of that is more like a mixed media page that's kind of framed in for you with, elements that look like lace or lattice work and that kind of thing. And then you have kind of a mixed color in the background with kind of peachy tones along with the, and a little bit of mint green to go with the purple. And then this paper is called Echoes. And up here we have a beautiful cluster. And then kind of hanging down over here we have a watch. And I guess these are like gears from the watches is what it's supposed to be. We have some diamond pattern in here. And this little bits right here that looks like lace tucked, underneath the mixed media. And then a pretty cluster here with some more diamond pattern and lace there. So perfect, for a center focal type photo. On the back, we've got the purple diamond print. So that would be nice for a layering piece or for a photo mat, anything like that. Or you could do your entire design on that. This one is called Tattern Time. And we've got a big cluster over here with a couple of gears. And up here, another cluster and more like some piping there. And then this smaller cluster right up here. But I like the splattering of the purple that's already on the paper, so you don't really have to do any mixed media, but yet it looks like you have. This is kind of a teal stripe down here at the bottom. And then on the back, we have more of a collage with, the little frog and suitcases, floral clusters, kind of a text pattern and kind of divided up into 3 columns there. So either side is great. Now this one is called Yesterday, and it has this big frame in the center and then what looks like, lace or filigree, around the edge, and some kind of peachy pink up here with the floral clusters, and then the gears over here. So all ready for, a primary photo to go right there. And the work is already done for you. So a photo and a title and that page could be done. On the back is a grid pattern, and along the edges we've got more florals and, faucets or piping. And one cute one down here with a little bit more darker purple tucked in there. And a little lattice work up there. So either side would be fun to play with. I think I'm really partial to this side right here, but I'd like to think of a new way to use that. This one's called Vintage Vines, and it just has your stopwatches going down in columns, and I really like the idea of that repeating pattern. And then there's layers of design underneath. It's lace and stripes and diamonds and that kind of thing, and there's like a little bit of brownish rust in there as well. So I really like that. That would make a really nice layering piece, or half of a page where you did something like that. On this side is more like a framed inside side, and then something central right here in the center with faded out florals along the sides. It's a little bit different look on that one. This one is called Serene, and again we have our clusters on each side. We have the mixed media influence throughout, little lace tucked in right there. I like the addition of the mint green on this one, and there's a little bit of damask right there in the center. On this side is more of a mint green, so that would be very useful in your layering and just general use. It would make a more simplistic background to start from, and then you could add in your other papers as you're working. This one is called Take Note, and it is more, I didn't measure them, but they're 3 across, and it's like 8 inches, so 3 by 8. And then, so these are 4 by 6s down here. And they're plain with clusters in, different locations. So you can use those. They're really nice for building up your base focal area. I do like using those. And then I like these just because I always like long vertical pieces to use to balance my design. On the back, we've got a stripe, and I think this is like a charcoal black. And so that would be really nice to contrast against some of the other pages to bring in a little bit more detail. And this one doesn't have a name because it's on the back side of the collection pack. So here is all the papers right here. And then on the back side, they've given us an additional print, and so it doesn't really have a name. A really pretty cluster here, another one there, some more of the watches on this side, and then the addition of these purple stripes in the center there. So I really like that one there. And you could actually use this one in some way if you wanted. You could cut out these little bits and create a design of your own. And then this one is called Timeless, and it's a great big watch, a stopwatch with the florals along either side. It's really kind of a hero page, just really beautiful. There's lacing detail within the images here, and the mixed media influence, of course. So it'll be interesting to figure out different ways to use this, or whether to fussy cut it and use it on something else. But lots of ideas there. And then on the back is another collage sheet that's divided into 3 columns. We've got our little bunny rabbit, or I guess he's a mouse, little mice. And then birds up here and vines. So you can cut this up, or you can just work on this side here. Or you could actually use this as your base paper if you want to. So that is all the papers. And then I did not print out the sketch. I don't think it's ready yet as of this recording. And so there's your decoupage, your chipboard, your stencil, the laser cuts, the ephemera, and then the florals. So let me go off camera for a moment while I open up this die cut pack, and we can take a deeper dive into that. Okay, so I'm back with this sorted out, and I hope my camera doesn't do anything funky there. Anyway, I'm just going to begin over here. We've got different type of frame. I thought I would just go through them. This one is like a window with some piping going down the side and some florals right there. Usually there's something in the middle to use, but this you can just, knock out the little window panes. And then here is a big stopwatch that you can use as a frame. And then after you pull that out, then you've got a viewfinder right there. So I'll put that there. And then this piece, for example, is actually 3 frames, 1, 2, 3, and then a couple of screws right in there. And I'm just going to leave them together for my purposes, but well, I can just show you how it comes apart like that. That would be 1 frame, and then the second one, third one right there. And same thing with this next one, only this is like a bigger rectangle. There's a second and third frame and some more screws. And then this was one that kind of fell apart in the packaging. But again, 3 frames with some screws in the center. So I like that there's a lot of frames that, we could put our photos in and already be ready to look nice. And then here is a couple more stopwatch frames right here. And the centers of these fell out, but I think it's these little pieces right here. That I've got 3 pieces. One that says timeless, so that must have come from a different one. And then memories, and then remember. Up here is a viewfinder, and then we've got a bunch of flags in the colors that are in the pattern paper, and then we've got some other fishtail banners, a couple with some sayings on them, like remember the little things and moments like this. Then we've got about 3 of these guys that have little phrases on them, simple pleasures, live in the moment, etc. And then also, I forgot to point out these 2 little ticket-like pieces that have the rose cluster on there. And then we also got 3, I believe, of these file cards, and they each have a different design on there. That one's a floral, that one's more charcoal with a little mouse on it. And this one, he's just standing up along the other side. So I think that's most of that. There's some screws and gears right there. Then over here, we've got another screw. We've got a couple of titles like Days Like This, Laugh Every Day. And then some lead piping and some gears. And then over here are some more of these little titles that have a little punched out hole. Love, Laugh Always, Dream Big. So these are neat for tucking into a floral cluster or what have you. And then there's 3 torn pieces. So I just kind of layered them on top of each other. They're all a different width, and they're already torn. So I like to put those behind my photos or my photo cluster. And then we've got a couple of half doily type pieces or scalloped edge. This one's more gray, and this one is more like a really light tan or purple. And then we got some tickets and all the little colorways in the pattern paper. And then we have some little tickets with little punched out edges that have the frog and the owl and the little mouse, and it says like time flies and yesterday and tomorrow. And then that one says your story. And then we have some clock faces right there, and then some more blank title spots or date, great for putting a date or somebody's name and that kind of thing. And then 3 little tabs. So that's all of it. I know some of it is clustered together as, pieces, but so lots to add on your pages. So I think that's everything. I will add a picture of the sketch at the end of the video so you can see what that looks like. And I thank you for coming by and spending time with me today. And I hope this is helpful and that you enjoy your kit. There'll be details below about how to order one if you're not already a subscriber. So thanks for coming by. See you next time. Bye-bye.